Hello YouTube, but back again with another video. I'm going to be doing my yellow Katakuri deck profile again, and it gave me second thoughts, and I might decide not to get ST20 but instead ST20, so I mean ST18, in order to upgrade my purple blue Kaido. If you guys are wondering what ST18 is, it's basically purple Luffy, but just in case for the fun of it, I did see the cards that are in ST18, a lot more cards worth getting compared to the other new star decks that are coming out. And now going back to ST20, looking at it, now it looks more of a disappointment. The reason why I say that, because with the cards I was able to get access to, which was really not that easy to find, and going in my recent deck profile, which you're going to see right now, which I'll be able to explain my card choices. This one looks perfect the way it is. I was able to max out on the majority cards, as well include some flex cards just in case, and make it work the way it should, and also be able to enjoy the deck. So I'm not going to be too long. I'm going to get straight to the deck profile. There's not really much I need to explain overall, but let us continue. Obviously, I mentioned before, playing our 2k counter, which happens to be the 1 cost Flampe. Not only is it a 1 cost, has a 2k counter, and it lets you add more consistency. Even by taking one of your life, whether it be the top or bottom, you still get to draw a card. And obviously I managed to max out on my Brûlé since I got my second STO7 starter deck. There's really not much to say. I've mentioned in my previous videos, although for those who haven't seen it, again, just an early block, just a small blocker to be able to play early game, as well as has the trigger where you play for free. This card you obviously got to max out on, which is for Pudding, because it's a 1 cost. And on play, you look at the top 4, you can add 1 Sanji card or 1 Big Mom card, pirate card, other than Pudding. Another searcher that we're playing, but this only works on KO, we're playing for Sparrow. Basically how this works is that if he is KO'd, you get to look at the top 3, you get to add 1 Big Mom pirate card from the top 3 tier, 1 from out of the 3 to your hand. For now, just 3 Sanji. I feel like 7 is a good amount that we have, but so we can have room for other cards. That's really the logic behind it. Sometimes you don't want to see too many because it takes away space for other cards. And not really much to explain. Again, again, people can decide whether they want to play Frankie. I don't have space for other cards. We're playing the Frankie from OPO 7, which happens to be a 2k counter. But obviously on trigger, what happens that you either draw a card, but if you have 1 or less life, you get to play this card for free. Similar thing with Satori, it's a 2k counter, but on trigger, you trash 1 to play this card. So we're obviously maxing on 4 Kikunojo. Not much needs to be said. Just very, very resourceful card. Adds a lot of pressure on offense and defense, because it's like not only is it's a 6k body, but anytime she dies or she gets KO'd, whenever your opponent has 3 or less life, you get to add 1 from the top tier life. Or on trigger, if this card's triggered and your opponent has 3 or less life, you get to play for free. For Gadatsu, very important card early game, because depending on your opponent's life, on play you get to KO 1 character that costs equal or less to their life. The new tech card that we're adding is 1 NL. I personally prefer this over the Rush Katakuri. That one's a little bit more situational, since you gotta reveal 1 in order for it to gain the ability Rush. But this immediately gains Rush, but on top of that he has protection. Although yes, he has a higher cost, I like the fact anytime he would be KO'd, you get to trash 1 from your hand instead. Finally, I got my playset of the 7 cost Lilin from STO7. Really not much to say, you guys. Main, on play, your opponent either trashes their life or they give you life. And I'm so happy I finally also got my playset of Charlotte Lillian from OPO3. Crazy good card. I understand why you have to play 4, simply because it is a massive game changer. Although it uses up all your Dawn, you essentially, anytime on play, you gain a life and you trash 1 life. And one thing I'm still trying to figure out, I was able to figure out, so even if your opponent was to have no life, you still gain the life, but you can't trash a life. So the on play ability will still go off, even if they have no. The only difference is that you will just gain the life instead. 200 million volts Amaru. Again, it's a main effect. Up to 1 your leader or characters gains 3k power if you rest 2 your Dawn. On top of that, if you have one or less life, you get to rest 1 your characters your opponent controls that cost 4 or less. Now, whether I'm deciding to change Soul Pull, because I feel this is just too good of a card. Again, it serves a purpose in the deck, and your main goal is to trash your opponent's life, as well as give yourself life. So even though you could play, you're the only one who should disappear. It does take a lot of thought. The reason why I personally wouldn't play that card, that you're the only one who should disappear, and again because although yes, it's a 0 cost, you trash 1 when your character's or leader gains 3,000. My issue with that, this deck has already have a lot of trashing, because a lot of the trash ability, it's either you play a character or you doing it to activate a certain card. So I feel like the amount of trashing in this deck already has enough. So I don't want to just keep trashing more cards and making my hand empty. I want to make sure I have enough resource in my hand, whether to counter or to play certain cards. But overall, it does the same thing as the Charlotte Lillian from STO7, which you can get from the start deck. Your opponent chooses one. They trash 1 life or you gain life, and same thing on trigger. You don't have to pay the cost, but when it's triggered, they do the same thing again. Either pay 1 life or you gain a life. But overall, this wasn't going to be too long because I already done past deck profiles regarding Katakuri. And I don't know whether this will be my final one, but overall I'm really digging this build. I feel like obviously this is the best one. I really enjoy. I'm really excited. This deck is really interesting to look at, as well as exciting to play. I just can't help but wanting to be this, again, basically my potential main deck, of course, which is, but mainly what I mean by main deck, one of the where I don't have to actually invest into spending more money on decks, or that my deck doesn't get hit to the point where I'm forced to change up my strategy or forced to play a different deck. I want to keep it the way it is. Sure, there'll probably be some minor adjustments, but the way it's looking, I feel like there doesn't even really need to be that many changes. And this is something I'm really thrilled to be happy about. One thing I'm happy about is that this is a deck that I own in real life, so owning the cards is so much better than actually playing on this simulator, because you have something to be proud of at the end of the day, you guys. But overall, I feel like I said enough, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.